Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin.
And this is Jerry Beck.
And we're watching a 1927 cartoon called Bright Lights. But
great print.
Nice and sharp.
Yeah. Mademoiselle Zulu, the Shimmy Queen. This is a really cool billboard sign lit up, typical of the kind of thing in Times Square. Look at all the characters in this scene. Great layout, great background, and you've got so many moving characters, typical of the kind of thing Disney was doing that represented quality, to open the cartoon with just some great visual spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
The dancers with the feet coming right toward the screen, toward our face. I love that. The dancing animation here is spectacular. It's Busby Berkeley before Busby Berkeley.
Uh-huh.
And it's wonderful choreographed moves. And the shimmy dancer is now going to show us her shimmy, literally. This is just great animation. And these are all visual, verbal gags that didn't have to be underlined.
Mm-hmm.
Silent movies really started their exhibition as part of vaudeville shows. Vaudeville was still in vogue when this cartoon was made, and audiences definitely could relate to these scenes of vaudeville theater and the kind of activity that would happen in it.
Of course.
The premise of this cartoon is very similar to The Opry House, one of the earliest Mickey Mouse cartoons. But it really is nothing like the Mickey. It's just the basic premise of it taking place in a vaudeville house, and the female character is a shimmy dancer. That's about where it ends. And there's Oswald admiring his new girlfriend.
This is all pantomime. Oswald has to get across all of what he's feeling and thinking simply with face, body English, pantomime, and a little pratfall.
There was a little Disney touch there that the Mademoiselle Zulu, who I guess is supposed to be some takeoff on Josephine Baker, maybe, but the fact that that image was in gray tone and not in black, and then it moved, like it looked like it was part of the background, but then it wasn't. That's the kind of thing Disney would do. That was just a little extra.
There's a simplicity to this cartoon and the other Oswalds, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it isn't still effective. They're using the visual medium, they're using two-dimensional drawings and making them come to life in a kind of very kinetic way. Now that's Oswald showing his pride with his chest held high and his ears pulled off. His ears pulled through his... Wait a minute, what is that?
Darn scary.
Yes. Oh, I always love that gag. That's a wonderful gag. The dissolution into multiple Oswalds.
I think they got a lot of laughs out of that gag, and that's why you see it a lot. It was an audience pleaser, and they knew it. They had done it in many, many cartoons before and after. In fact, I can think of a lot of the harmonizing cartoons at Warner Brothers where Bosco goes through the same thing when he gets knocked on the head.
Rubbery is, I guess, the best adjective to describe the design and movement of these characters at this time. Especially Oswald, but obviously not just Oswald. This poor goon had better be rubbery or he's in deep trouble.
The drawing really is better on these cartoons than a lot of other cartoons in the silent era. I mean, obviously we can think of Dick Humer at Fleischer and Otto Mesmer on the Felix, but there's definitely a distinct artist's drawing style here that's really appealing. I think that's one of the things that set the Disney cartoons ahead of the pack in this era.
Exactly, and of course nobody knew it at the time, but working there were four of the great animators, four of the seminal animators of the golden age of animation. Ub Iwerks, Hugh Harman, Rudy Ising, and Friz Freleng.
What's great about these cartoons, it really looks like they're having fun making them. I don't know if they were or not, but you get the feeling that they're enjoying making these films.
Well, there's energy. There's constant energy in the pace and in the never-ending parade of gags. They don't stand still for a second. Literally they don't stand still for a second, because that would be dead, what they used to call dead air on radio when no one was talking. Here, the visual equivalent would be Oswald standing still. That's just untenable. He's got to keep moving, and so does the story, and so do the gags.
This thing is loaded with gags. Every scene has something in it, some little bit of invention. that, it's very perky in that way.
Well, again, it has no dialogue to fall back on. Only the music track that would be provided by the organist or pianist or possibly orchestra in the given theater showing the cartoon. And they had to pack it with action and gags. That was their mandate.
This is a nice reflection of the era. There was still vaudeville and, people going to live shows. And so here's what if Oswald was running around a theater while the show was on and
in the bright lights.
Right, exactly. Well, these kind of shows don't exist today. So, again, a kid would not understand kind of what is this thing exactly.
Yes, today Oswald would be breaking into a taping of American Idol, perhaps.
That would be the closest thing.
And it would be called Loud Voices. Oh, those pants.
Well, this is the pre-code era, and they could get away with anything.
Yes, well, I guess it was really important, significant, actually, looking back, that characters of that era were never anatomically correct, or they could have gotten themselves in terrible trouble.
Or even if he was anatomically correct for a rabbit, it would be really scary.
That's right. He really bears scant resemblance to a rabbit, I have to admit.
This great print was found in Spain. This is one of the lost Oswald cartoons that hadn't been around for decades. And so we're real privileged to have that on this set.
Of course. Now that's something that we see in cartoons made by all of those animators in the years to follow, that very imaginative and clever idea of a mouth enveloping the camera, in this case the lion's mouth.
Yes. Anything coming toward the audience. I keep thinking about the great train robbery when the guy shoots at the audience. I think almost anything coming toward the audience was always a thrill, even as late as this period.